Been a challenging year for a lot of folks, and that holds especially true for those with a passion for sports. KIMT News 3 Sports Director Caleb Gillock joining us with a look back at what happened in the world of athletics this year.
Yeah, Katie, it's been an eventful one, and it's also been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. Many of us hoped that 2020 would be the year that we'd get what we wanted, and when in all reality, we learned to appreciate the things that we have. 2020 started out just like any other year, with teams making the final push to improve for the postseason. Then on January 26th, the sports world was rattled when Kobe Bryant and his daughter were tragically killed in a helicopter crash.
That was just a tragedy. That was my idol growing up, and just to see that he was no longer here, it was just heartbreaking.
A few short weeks later, NASCAR saw one of its worst crashes in years on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
Wow. Crash into the wall, into the air goes Newman.
Newman was transported to a nearby hospital and walked out days later. Life seemed to return to normal. Wrestlers won state championships, and the RCTC wrestling team brought home a national title. Then came along this thing called COVID-19. The Lord Eagles were in the midst of a state tournament run. The Blooming Prairie Boys had just advanced to state for the first time since 1966. And Mayo was set to play in the section championship when the season was abruptly ended.
If you would have told me that when I started playing basketball in 5th grade that my senior season was going to end because of a virus, I would have thought you were crazy.
Sports as we knew them had been canceled until Iowa took the leap of faith to play baseball and softball during the summer, where the Newman Knights made another run to the state title game. In the fall, Osage would win its first state title in volleyball. Minnesota, however, voted to push volleyball and football back to the spring before reversing its decision later on. There were fewer spectators, but players were passionate, winning section championships. It also gave athletes like Brody Larson the chance to play football for the first time and score his first touchdown, teaching all of us a valuable lesson in looking at the positives.
This has been the best year of my life.
While the fall season may have been cut a few weeks short due to a pause on sports, athletes were thankful for the opportunity to compete. Athletes will ring in the new year by starting practices on January 4th. Vaccines are now being administered, which makes 2021 look a little more promising. No matter what happens, remember to always appreciate what you have, because tomorrow it might not be there. Now, I'm sure I've forgotten a thing or two that happened this year, but Katie, if I went through everything, we simply would be here till next year.
A lot of fun to watch that. Sometimes you kind of forget all the things that happen in a year.
For sure.
And, this has certainly been quite the year.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, Caleb.